Welcome to the Wise and Happy Life podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern science, and mindfulness, philosophy, and happiness practices blend with neuroscience, compassion, and common sense. Hosted by Bob Martin, meditation mentor, happiness coach, trial lawyer, and entrepreneur. This podcast explores how to live with grace, presence, and purpose in a complex world.
Hey, hello, good people, and welcome to another episode of a Wise and Happy Life podcast. And as you know, I always like to start off every podcast with a little story that kind of sets the scene for our most fantastic, most excellent, if you remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, most excellent guest today, who's going to make you laugh and make you just feel good. But the story is that I was just on a cruise and we had a wonderful time on the cruise. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you know that, first of all, they feed you all this food and you get this, what I call a cruise bump. But besides that, every night there's a theater, a show that you get to go to. So we went to this one show called Rock Opera, and they had their people out there and they were singing all these different songs. Now, if you go on a cruise to the Caribbean, there might be a lot of kids, but if you go on a cruise to New England, you're going to see a lot of old folks, a lot of white-haired people like me. I'm 75. And a lot of them are on these wheelchair things and these little, carts and walkers and stuff and mobility issues. And like the first half of the entire theater is reserved for, the less abled. So we went to this thing called Rock Opera, and everybody was sitting there, and sometimes there was clapping and sometimes not. But at the very end, the whole cast came out and they started singing that old time rock and roll. Give me that old time rock and roll. And all these people, all these white-haired, old, disabled people got up on their feet and they started clapping and singing and for that moment, for that brief moment when they were there, they were just teenagers again. They were all teenagers. And I tell you this story because our guest, Zander Phelps, is made the entire world his playground. He's traveled all over the world teaching people to bring out their kid again and just play. And I just love this guy. So say hi, Zander, and tell us a little bit about your travels and some of your experience. I mean, the one thing that continues to touch my heart is you told me a story about a guy going into a park, and that's what you do. You go into a park and you start playing juggling. Tell us, you take it from here. I just love your stories.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate being here, and I love being able to spread the joy of play, well, and the power of play. But yeah, it all started for me in '95. I was heading out the door with a backpack, and one of my friends asked me if I had a foot bag or a hacky sack. But hacky sack's owned by Whammo. I first have to say that because everyone always calls it a hacky sack, but it's technically one of these, a little foot bag. So he gave me his, and that unlocked my world for me. Like I was able to go to a country. I just go to a
Hold
park.
on a second. Now, for those that are uninitiated, when you say foot bag, what are you talking about exactly? What is it? What is that little thing?
Yeah, that's the generic term for a little bag that you kick around, like a little sack, right?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, all cultures around the world have something similar to it. Japanese elite,
Soccer.
yeah. Well, soccer, yeah, soccer's stemming from football, but um, in Japan, the elite warriors for the emperor, they would play a similar game in full armor to get more into the zone before going into battle. And Aborigines have a similar game. Native Americans used to use the scrotum of a buffalo, but it was a dead buffalo. The second kick wasn't as
Well,
fun.
I hope it was dead.
Yeah, right. Buffaloes don't forgive or forget. But it was a way. That's actually how it got started. The person who created in Oregon, he was looking for a way to help with his knees, and his Native American friend told him about the scrotum thing they used to kick around, and so his wife sewed one up together. They started kicking it around, and it became a community thing. Like the whole community started getting involved with it because they loved the game. Then Whammo got wind of it, and they came up and gave the guy a check for, like, I don't know, it was a ridiculous amount to create the hacky sack, and then Whammo spread that everywhere. So everyone now considers it a hacky sack, but that's the Band-Aid, the Xerox. That's the company name. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
Kind of
trademark
like
name.
we old guys used to call copiers. We called them Xeroxes,
Xerox machines, yeah, and
not
Band-Aids,
photocopiers, because
yeah,
that was the name. Yeah,
yeah, Kleenex. It's
yeah.
all, yeah. So those are all the brand names, but that one little gift uh, transformed my world. It allowed me. I mean, I was in any country, any culture, being able to play someplace and have somebody cool come and play with me. And so this
Well,
person was
wait a second.
outgoing,
You got
fun
a
loving.
hacky sack. You don't know what to do with it. So, what did you start doing with it?
You just start kicking it up by yourself. Like you kick it with, like, when you toss it down, you kick it with your thighs up in the air, right? You just kick it back and forth. And so then you get your thighs. That's why I recommend people get your thighs going first, which is an amazing core exercise. But you're also balancing. I call Footbag the ultimate physical exercise, right? It is an amazing cross trainer. No matter what sport you're playing, you'll benefit from kicking around a hack. It puts you in the zone. The quickest from all the games I've tried. But you can also have play by yourself and learning how to kick it and use your foot and stuff like that to keep this thing in the air. But then you can have any number of people in a circle as you keep on expanding the circle. So all of these people are now facing each other with a cooperative competition vibe. Nobody goes away from a hack circle feeling disappointed or that they were wearing the wrong color uniform and got their asses kicked. Everyone works together. And it's a non-violent cooperative competition game that you can put in your pocket. You can play anywhere. I play on beaches, I play on streets, I play on grass is my favorite. But you don't need a special field, don't need special equipment, and it's a small space to have an amazing amount of fun. So on many levels, I just consider it to be the best exercise for
Well, now, I mean, thinking back to some of these folks that were in that theater, I mean, it seems like that might be wow, pushing their limits, especially with the thighs. You do some juggling too with the hands, and
that's the other point about. But there I used to push hack or footbag more than anything for the number of years. I got introduced to juggling partway into that journey, and I just did juggling on the side. But because of the physical limitations of hack, you cannot really start. I wouldn't start training people in hack until they were at least into the double digits. And then after a certain amount of
what do you
years,
mean double digits?
like 10 plus, like 13 was the ideal age. But I play with younger kids, sometimes 9, sometimes 8, but never a 4-year old, right? Never somebody who is under a certain age. It's just too frustrating, and they don't really get it. And you can't play past a certain amount of years because of the hips and stuff like that. So after 60, it starts getting more and more challenging. Even myself right now, I'm just turning 55 this year. My hack playing has dropped dramatically from what I used to do just a number of years ago, just because of my knees, right? But juggling is something I call it the ultimate brain exercise. Juggling is something I push onto everybody. I'm like, if there's one thing you can learn as a human being, learn juggling. Because you can start the best jugglers in the world start at age 4. And I work at senior centers right now, and I teach them the steps to juggling, right? And so they're learning
Wait,
these.
but they didn't start at age 4. These are
No,
folks that never juggled before, and now they're in senior centers, and you're teaching them juggling.
yes, I'm teaching them right now the steps to juggling. There's
Uh huh.
steps that you do, but every step that you do helps with your left and right brain communication, which helps with everything, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
key, because your brain works holistically. So you got your both hemispheres in the game, but what happens is if we use one side of our body a lot, one side starts to become dominant, and the brain can't reference both sides equally, and so the memory starts shutting down. But what you do is juggling is such a left brain exercise thing, and then we also do other exercise things that help coordinate the left right hemispheres, but you're getting the corpus callosum, which is your connector, activated in a really amazing way. So there's that the amazing thing about juggling is it's not specified brain pulses. They're holistic brain pulses that literally sense these blasts through your whole brain. So old neurons get a little fire, and the strong connector neurons get more connected. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's quite profound. You use your hands, which are the gateway to your brain. Anytime you use your hands with something, it's amazing. But because all your nerve endings and the connectors, receptors on your hands are extraordinary. It takes an extraordinary amount of memory to use your hands. So now you're going back and forth. One hand is opening up as another hand is catching, and you're going across your midline. So you're activating your whole brain, right?
Wow.
So,
Who
and
who
yeah,
who would know this? Nobody would know this.
it's hard to find the information. Like I've been doing this for years, and the more I found out about it, I was like, why don't most people know this stuff? Why aren't they teaching in schools juggling as mandatory? Mandatory because it helps with everything. I mean, it literally helps with music. It's there's the connector that it does for it helps you complete with music, but hand-eye coordination. Tennis coaches are now teaching juggling. They're like, you got to learn juggling if you want to have better hand-eye coordination control. It just helps with everything. So I'm like, and it's not hard to learn. I do have the best freak video course, but I show people the steps and I show people how to make really good juggling balls out of rice, plastic bags, and balloons. Really easy to make. I can make 3 in less than a minute, but it's a quick way of getting really good juggling balls that you can start learning how to juggle.
So what's happening in my head is saying, I tried once or twice. I could never learn. I could never learn to juggle. That's what I'm thinking. Everybody says this to you, right?
Everybody says it to me. Everybody says that to me. And I'm like, you know what? I can guarantee you that even if you try to do it, you're going to have an experience that you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm doing something for my brain. But most people get frustrated with the process because they didn't learn the steps and they're trying to either do a 2-ball juggle the wrong way, which is like my statistic is 97.3% of the people will juggle like this, juggle 2 balls. Oh, I can do a 2-ball juggle, but you're not. You're going in a circle, which doesn't activate your left and right hemispheres. The 2-ball juggle is actually this. We throw one back and forth, and it's a lot easier for your brain. That's a 2-ball juggle, right? But getting to that steps, there's steps that you do with 1 ball that are super easy. This is step 2, and step 3 is another one where you're catching it like this and you go back and forth. But those steps start building the neuron connection. They start building your confidence because you realize how easily you can do it. And then you start building that up to get to a 3-ball juggle. But,
And people actually learn this.
Yes, absolutely. I taught a guy with Parkinson's disease. I used to live on Kauai, and one of my friends had Parkinson's disease, and he was going through it severely. He was trying to get it, so I had him start squeezing the ball. I'm like, just start doing this. So he started doing this and just getting his neuromuscular tactile senses going, and then he started tossing it up, start touching, and he started throwing it higher, then start throwing it higher, and then he started going back and forth. Right? Back and forth. And that's what you're getting the slow ping going. And then I started teaching him the steps, and he got the 2 balls, right? You start doing that after it took him like 7-8 months to get to a 2-ball juggle. But he was talking about how every step of it was encouraging him. He saw the impact in his life, and he was like, I want to learn more and more. And so as soon as I said I wouldn't give him the next step until he showed me the step that he did. So, but when I had to leave the island, but I gave him the 3rd ball when I left because I'm like, you graduated to a 3-ball juggle. Here you go. So, it's but it's literally like how I've taught people in moments how to do a 3-ball juggle. I've taught people in weeks how to do a 3-ball juggle. It depends on where you're at and how motivated you are. But if I give lessons on teaching how to juggle, like I do, with group projects, I'll for companies and stuff like that, I do an hour-long juggling course. The first half an hour is telling you why you need to know how to juggle. It's just for you guys to get the importance of juggling. Like, once you understand the why of it, you're going to be committed to learning it. That's the goal. Because I don't want you to stop halfway. I don't want you to feel like you can't do it. Learn it.
Well, when you say the why of it, you mean understanding like what's going on inside you? The why?
Partially, but understand the importance of learning how to juggle. Like, why should you spend any time learning how to juggle? Right? What it's going to do for this and this and this and this and this and this is amazing for you. If you're going to de-stress, like a lot of these companies are trying to get these programs to de-stress their people, their employees. So I go, if you're in a stressful situation, if you're in a thing where you have to make a quick decision or something like that, take a moment, juggle. Once your brain gets activated in that juggle mode, I call it the play flow state, but it happens really fast once you get to a juggling to a certain level. It takes you can't just be throwing them up randomly. There's one point in time where you're going to be throwing randomly, and all of a sudden your brain locks in, and the pattern comes to you, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I've got this," and your brain relaxes.
I
That's the play.
understand. You know, I understand exactly what you're saying. I haven't experienced that in that, but it's like, you know, what we when we call an athlete, you know, who had a terrific night, hit every basket, and he
Oh,
comes back and he goes, "I can't believe I did that. It didn't even seem like it was me."
you're on fire. In
You're on
tennis, we
fire,
call it
in the
training. Like you're
zone.
training.
Yeah,
You're just you're on your game. But
right.
right,
And it
so your
just
brain,
happens.
yeah, your
We
brain
call it
kind of
muscle
shuts down.
memory, things like
Yeah,
that. Mhm.
yep, yep. So that's what we try and do. And so the juggling is the fastest I've come across as far as getting into that state and dumping your brain. So you get the epinephrine, the dopamine, all the beautiful brain chemicals going on. Your cortisol level plummets. The stress hormone plummets when you start juggling, but your brain just dumps everything to be in that now. So you de-stress almost instantaneously. So it's just learn how to do it. I mean, that's just my overall thing is like learn how to do it.
Just do it.
Just do it, right? Because then once you learn one trick, you can always learn another trick. You can keep on branching out and learning new tricks and setting goals for yourself. I'm going to learn this trick in a week. Got it. Okay, I'm awesome. You gain your own confidence. You recognize that you're the shit. You know what I mean? And you can keep on building on it. And that gives you that ability to take life a little less serious and gives you more. It's even amazing for people to watch juggling
Oh
because
yeah.
your brain has to follow the ball, so you're getting a cross brain action just watching juggling. But
Hmm.
it brings more joy into the world. Like I've been in so many crazy situations where I pulled out the juggling balls and everyone's like, "Oh, there's a juggler. Everything's okay. It's good." You know what I mean? So that's and this again is this is my ultimate play tool.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I call these Hakitos. All right. The noun is this, the ultimate play tool. The verb is the path of play, right? So once you have one of these things, then you can knock them into cups. I play slap with people. My son beans me with these hard. You know what I mean? I play catch with people. My mom and I play a bocce style game. We throw one with either hand to try and come close to it. But you can make them too, and that's becoming an ambassador of play. That's somebody who knows how to make this stuff, and they give them away to people in their communities. They're going out there and trying to make their communities a little bit better by going to the park and playing, trying to get other people to come out and play and learn juggling so that they're getting themselves happy every chance they can by playing with themselves legally. So
Legally. That's great. So you've traveled all over the world with this, yes?
pretty much, yeah, yeah, yeah. When my friend gave me that first foot bag, I traveled for 10 years directly with that backpack and just I would go. I'd meet a bunch of cool people from one country, who were in another part of the world, and I go to their country and then just branch out from there. And just I kept on meeting cool people who would invite me back to their country. So I was like, this is awesome. I can just and it was almost always via hack, because it was a certain
Via
standard.
play.
Yeah, via play, right? But
Yeah.
it was always a certain type of person who wanted to come up and play with another human being. So that was like my icebreaker. So,
Mm, mm, mm.
right?
Yeah. So, it's I was just talking to a lady, and she was talking about um how she goes through life, and she actually has been ordinated, if that's the right word, as a swami, right?
Okay.
And she's just the kindest, sweetest, nicest, openest, i- vulnerable person that you could meet. And she goes, it's funny, but I hear people talk about all these events that they get involved in, but it seems like everywhere I go, people are just nice,
Nice.
and nice begets nice, right? Play begets play. You go out, you want to play, people who want to play come to you, and
Yeah.
what a wonderful thing. And what really blows me away is that the the effect that you've had, among seniors. And you said Parkinson's was one thing. Do you notice anything different with mental cognition and things like that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You do. It stimulates in the brain. Juggling is one of the only things they know of that builds white as well as gray matter for the brain. So,
Explain that.
right, if there's been traumatic brain injury, like injury trauma, if people learn how to juggle, the brain will start regrowing tissue as well as creating more electrical pulses, the neurons. So it's building
Wow.
the white as well as gray matter to restructure the brain because the brain is so demanded when it just does juggling.
Well, what is white and gray matter?
Gray matter is actually the physical form. White matter is the energetic connections, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
So it's rebuilding both of those. So
Wow.
it's a substantial. So that helps with cognizant, that the cross brain action, helping build the corpus callosum connector, helps with every type of connection. So it's a way of just rewiring the brain.
Yeah.
And
That's not all you do with your hands, right?
no, I do artwork. I'm an artist, but I also make origami animals out of
I
dollar
know.
bills.
Well, okay, you've created your own dollar bill, and hey, if you're listening, the United States government, it's not a fake. I mean, it's the right same size,
It's
but
a
it
little
doesn't
bit
look anything
smaller.
like one. A little
Yeah,
bit
no,
smaller.
yeah, no. People are like, "Are you afraid of counterfeit?" Like counterfeit is like it has to look like a dollar bill. I just took there's a lot of information on a bill. There's a lot of hidden meanings and stuff like that. So I turned them all into positive energy. So this
Uh-huh.
thing is meant to be, a way to free your mind, body, and spirit in a really cool way of learning. Origami is another thing that's extraordinary for our brain that's always fun. So there's a whole bunch of animals that I learned how to create over the years. The first one is a peacock. I can do one in less than a minute, just fold it together. Like, I mean, I can do one right now while I'm talking to you just to show you what it
Do
looks
it,
like.
do it, do it, do
But
it, do it.
literally, it's one of the things that's like, I say, learn how to do a peacock. Because if you can learn how to do this, you get confidence with it, you have fun with it, and you learn an amazing animal. This is actually one of my favorite folds because it's so quick, but it's really beautiful. But craniogami or origami in general, it's a way of you're taking something two-dimensional, making something three-dimensional out of it. So your brain's like, this is extraordinary for you. You're learning amazing math skills while doing it. And it's always fun. And you can leave these things for people. And I've never gotten somebody who has been bummed out from receiving an origami animal, right? So,
No, I
right?
don't think so. Yeah,
No,
right.
they're not like, Jesus, that sucks. Thanks for spending your time making this thing for me. It's always well received. So this one, I do this on the first video. Like on the back of the dollar bills, you're going to see a little QR code, and there's a landing page that shows you this animal right here. And when I do it in front of the camera, I'm like, look, this is so quick to do. It's really easy to do, but it turns out to be pretty darn cool,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, for the folks that are listening, he's just held up this really cool looking paper peacock, and it's got the whole full fan out there and a little head and body, and you just
It's
made it in what, a minute, 30
Yeah,
seconds?
yeah, and it
Wow. Huh?
stands up really nice too. So this is the one that like I put down quickly. So, on my website, which
So wait, just let me just as a funny little thing. That means like if I wanted to leave a $5 tip for somebody, I could take out a $5 bill if I knew how to do it, and I could fold it up and leave them a turkey.
you can. Turkey is one of the more complex ones. I don't have it on my
Well,
website because
well,
it's really
peacock. I
peacock.
mean
Yeah, yeah,
peacock.
yeah, yeah.
You can make a peacock and
Yes.
leave that for. What a cool way to leave a tip.
Yeah. The only thing is I recommend not using large scale money because people are gonna be tempted to open it up, right? And the
Right.
thing about origami is when you're folding it, like you're putting your good intentions into it. So it locks in with the folds. That's why
Uh
people
huh.
will do they'll do 1,000 cranes for a wedding gift, right?
Uh
So
huh.
all of their intentions of having good blessings are inside each fold. So if people are tempted to open it up, it kind of breaks the spell,
I get you. I
right?
get you.
So it's one of those
Yeah.
things
No.
I'm like,
No. I get you.
yeah, keep it
I get you.
folded, and then hopefully they can put them on their little. People talk to me like years later on. I kept it on my altar or whatever, and it does. My intention is to bring good luck for people, so that's
Hmm.
that's what it is. Like every time I fold one of those up, it's just to bring warm fuzzies. So,
Uh,
but it's just another way of spreading a little bit of fun, and I can keep those in my wallet, and I keep these in my pocket. So those are my two things that keep me just in a playful state all the time.
so let me just repeat that. We can go to your website and download that
The,
paper and
yes,
print it out, and there's a
yes.
QR code on it, and that'll give us. Oh, we go to the website and there's a QR code, or we go to tell us again.
It's totally, you get it right.
Evidently, my right and left brain needs some juggling.
There you go. Start juggling.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
right. So the website has one section for play, which is the Hakido part. And then I have one section for craniogami. If you go to the craniogami part, you can print out the stencil of 4 hacky bills, right? And then on the back side of those has a QR code. But that QR code, when I hand them out to people, that's to go to like a landing page, which has a little video of me showing how to do why a peacock and what's so amazing about craniogami. And then underneath it, you have a bunch of videos which have all the different animals, right, that I do. Those are shot in some really cool places. I used to live on Kauai, so these are all my favorite places on Kauai where I fold them up in front of these magnificent spots. But on the website, if you go to the zoo there, it also has all the animals, but it also has me doing them in front of a white background, and I'm doing it a lot slower, and I'm talking the way through it. So you can actually follow them a lot easier. So that's for like if you want to really learn how to do it. The other ones are for I did the white background ones later on because I recognize that I'm in some
Right.
awkward positions trying to do some of these other ones. So I'm doing them pretty quick. You know what I mean? I'm
Right,
just trying
right.
to fold it up. But but underneath each animal, now I have the actual craniogami, because I call this is a hacky bill and doing origami animals, but craniogami was my branch off from that to do actual animals that look like when you print out the stencils underneath them, like you'll see like a butterfly. When you print out the stencils, you only get 3 of them because there's areas around it that you have to cut out versus the hacky bill, you just cut them straight and they'll line up okay. But the other animals have only 3 of them, but they're colorful. And when you fold them up, they look like the animal. So
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
the peacock has feathers on it, plumage on it. The butterfly is gorgeous. It's got all these different, and they're different colored. They're different types of butterflies. I have turtles. I have elephants. This is a seal that I'm doing right now. I'm just finishing up the last alignments of it to see how well it turns out. And then I have to do little adjustments for it. But then I put them up on the website, and you can always print those out. It's all, I have a little donation page if you want, but it's all for free. I'm like, I want people to learn how to make these things. You could learn how to make these things on the website. You can, learn the juggling courses all for free on the website, and all of it's just like, come on, you guys, let's just make the world a better place.
Let's do that. Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
that.
do that.
Yeah, listen, as I'm listening to you though, you're mentioning a lot of brain science and terminology and things like that. So, how did you come across that knowledge?
It just kept on being handed to me. It was weird because like I didn't really know anything about juggling when I started juggling, other than my friends forcing me to juggle because I was playing hack with them, and they're like, "Well, if you like hack, you got to learn juggling." Um, and then I'd meet other people who would talk to me about things and things. I started doing some digging, although it's very hard to get it on the internet. It's very hard to get this type of information on it. But I just slowly started, finding out more and more research on it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is incredible. And then I started more studying the neuroscience behind the brain stuff, just because I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't totally just don't all shuffle off everything, but I'm wrong sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but it's less and less as I'm like, okay, did I kind of overstate myself here? Let me double check. So if I made wrong statements in this one, Bob, it's not my fault. I blame it on somebody else. So
No, everything that you said is spot on. I love it. I love it.
so
I love it. One of the things that in terms of balancing, one of the things that I work on with my meditation students, and one of the things that I speak about in terms of the pathway to happiness is that our brain is split into two sides not only in our thinking, but also in the way that we think and where we hold our intelligence and where we hold our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems, which translate as the stress, fight, flight
Freeze, fawn.
response.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the other one is the rest and digest, connect, you know, side. And the right side is, you know, the stress side, the prefrontal cortex, and the left side is the rest and digest and connect. Have awe, you know, have a sense of spirituality, have something bigger than yourself. That whole thing, which, you know, evolutionary psychologists say that we developed it for the idea of coming together as a tribe. So that was the way that we learned to survive. Spiritual authors would say that there was a different reason, that it is the divine within us. But whichever way you go, it still feels damn good.
Right.
It still feels damn good. But what, you know, the brain science that I know is that most of us have the mistaken idea that you can suppress stress. Now, I've got to reduce my stress. I've got to put my stress down. I've got to de-stress. And the science is showing that that just can't be done. There's no mechanism for intentionally suppressing stress. There is a mechanism, though, for building up the left side. And then the left side acts as a governor on the right side.
Okay.
So the whole idea is to come to balance between the right and left side, because you need a certain amount of stress to protect yourself and to get things done.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, everything would be la la kumbaya, right? But if
Right.
you're too much on the left side, then you know you don't get anything done. So you need them both, and the whole idea is being in balance. And what you're talking about, juggling, is seemed like the perfect tool, you know, through physical motion, for those that, you know, don't feel like they want to sit on a mat, which is a misconception anyway. But for those that
Right.
that are a little skeptical about meditation, here's something that you can do physically with proven results, and you know, your experiences have just been amazing,
Uh,
just amazing.
yeah, the
So
meditation in motion is what I call it. It's
yeah,
playful meditation. But I actually was in an ashram and my guru saw me kicking around my hack, and he was like, "That's your focus. That's your center."
it's
Right? Because like that was like, you know, if I'm kicking around a hack, I'm in a total other world. But
right.
you know, but it's you know, it is quite an extraordinary thing. But the other thing I preach and get people on is laughter. I'm like going, laughter is a way to drop your cortisol levels almost immediately. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
stress hormone. So it's another, you know, it doesn't suppress it per se, but it helps just get you focused. And laughter is something that we can all do, and it's you know, it's pretty profound stuff. That's I'm doing a really good talk on it for longevity. Laughter and play are the two things that you can do to really help you out and get your things refocused quickly. So
Yeah, it's so important. You know,
yeah.
the Dalai Lama, you know, said that the whole purpose of life is to be happy.
It's supposed to be, but you know, I, to be honest, Bob, I feel ultimately privileged, right? I'm like, when there's so many people around the world who can't even get into these type of states because they're just trying to survive. They're trying to just go through life and like, you know, in crazy parts of the world where it's war torn and all these
Mm,
different places, they're just like, you know, but on those same lines, I'm like, well, I've been given this opportunity, this life to really explore this. So it would be detrimental for me not to. It would be like anti to what I'm supposed to do if I don't fully dive into this. But life, as I see it as a playground, I'm like, we come here in the physical to experience a separation. We come to experience a body that has pain, pleasure, and all these different things. So I consider it that's why I consider the playground. We come
mhm.
to experience, no matter no matter how you slice it, play seems to be the way that it comes to be. Whether that is, you know, because you don't get this in an ethereal body, you don't get this body, you know, in a spiritual sense. You can't experience these things. So I'm like, why not make the most of it? Why not play with life and try to figure it out? If you have that opportunity, you know, just make the most out of it. But you know, it's
Well, the only thing I want to say to you right now is just bless you.
thank bless you.
May you be blessed. May you be blessed.
I'm infinitely blessed. I give so much gratitude. It's every day is just like I'm like, wake
Mhm.
up. I'm like, thank you for this day. Thank you for, yeah, how do I be in service? How do I make this thing work the best that I can? Because it's we're in confusing times. We're in places where
Oh,
it's just humanity is very much at a turning point. So we got to make sure that we really really put our eyes on the prize. What do we want to do? How do we want to be best here right now? Because all the other stuff, you can get caught up in all this other external stuff, and that's what they're constantly trying to do: get us out of ourselves and get us into this external world that really doesn't mean anything, because it's all about here. It's all about how you can control right here.
mhm. No,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, so many of the people that I know, you say these are difficult times, and they are. It's hard to follow the news. I don't have a problem with it because I balance it out with enough, play, my
yeah,
own play, and enough stuff that I enjoy and love doing. So when you have that in your life, you can bear the burden, of the suffering that's out there. And I know that I share a life question with you, and I know that I do. And here is that question: have I done enough?
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yep, yep,
Have
yep.
I done enough? You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you continually can upgrade. That's the thing. That's the thing. So I'm like,
Hmm.
I have set little goals out for myself, and I'm like, if I can get this far, I've done enough. And then it's like, oh wait, but I can do this. So let me do that. Have I done enough? Okay, well, you know, I, I kind of had these deep conversations with my son, and I'm like, going, look, if I'm called away from here, just know that I've done the best I can every moment, and I think I've left enough, enough of the trails of things that I've done that it doesn't, I'm content. I've really
Hmm.
done, I've played this game out to the best of my ability, and I continually will, and I'll set different milestones. But even my first milestones, like as long as I get this going, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm
Hmm.
ready. But just keep on
Yeah.
asking, keep on asking for the next
Keep
step I
on
need to
asking
do.
the question.
Yep.
It's like Coach Lombardi said, whenever that moment comes and I'm called away, I want to make sure I left everything on the field.
Yeah. 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 You don't want it. Yeah. No shoulda, coulda, woulda. Just do it, what you need to do,
Do
and,
it
and move on. So
and
that's the
move on.
best thing.
Mm.
But
What a sweet man you are.
thank you, Bob. Appreciate that, bro. Takes one to know one. I'm always right.
All right. So tell us your website.
It's now under one website. It's zplaycoach.com. So, I do, groups things for juggling courses, as well as, I do conferences where I talk about play in general, but play and longevity, how you can maximize effort with play. So but I do private coaching for executives mainly, because I'm trying to reach the people who need it the most, and so it can trickle down to the whole thing. But if you go to my websites, they're actually really cool. I got this new mailing system where you put your name and your email, and then every third day you get a fun little practice to do, depending on what type of play type you are. There's like 4 different types of play types: a wizard, a warrior, a druid, or a bard. And they describe like the different ways people play, and the emails are catered to help you just activate a play flow state with just small little things you can do. So that's that's all. It's all for free, and then just enjoy the ride, but get more players out there is my ultimate goal. I'm about ready to create a school for a university of play, and share with people how to do these things, what you need to do to become an ambassador of play, and then here's the criteria for going to a senior center. This is what you can do for a thing for that. This is how you go to rehab centers, because juggling's amazing for rehab. This is how you go to schools. This is what you can do with schools. I'm trying to create a whole program for people who want to become the ambassador of play in their community. So,
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to take this video. Of course, it'll go out in the podcast, and I'll let you know when it's going to be done, and send you all the clips and everything else. But I'm going to take this video around and show it to people personally. Show it, go over to Twin Lakes, which is our senior center, and show it to the folks over there, and go over to the school and show it to them. And um, I'm going to be your best, not your best. I'm going to be a good cheerleader.
Appreciate
Right.
that. Appreciate that.
Okay. Well, we're out of time. Any last comment? Anything?
Just play as much as you can. Just smile and try and spread the joy, man. The more players we have, the more smiles we have, the more joy we bring to this world. You get what you give. But it's we need it now more than ever. Just yeah.
Gotcha. Please go to his website. Go to my website. Read my blog. Read his stuff. Play. Have fun. Be happy. Okay, we'll see you the next time around.